Damn, man. You know who it is. It's your melon. Coming at you vertically. And Post Malone, new album, Beer Bongs, and the Bentleys is already platinum in 4 days after coming out. Already platinum in 4 days. That is huge. It's huge. It's a huge thing. And who knows what numbers it's going to rack up beyond this. I mean, maybe the steam will die out in the next month or so. I don't predict that because, again, as I said in my review, I think there are a lot of tracks on the album that have hit potential post the release of this album. You know, not just Rockstar and not just that Ty Dolla Sign single that got dropped. I think there are other tracks hidden in the track listing that will be fan favorites as the album continues to grow on people, continues to get streams. But as of right now, even in this very short period of time, the fact that it has racked up this many streams, this much attention, is no small feat in the age of streaming. Now, I think that this has happened for a couple different reasons. I mean, not only because, as I said in my review, I think there is good quality material on the record, but I think Post Malone, in comparison with a lot of the other auto crooners who he's in competition with, he's shown that he, at his core, is an actual songwriter or delivers tracks that feel like songs in the midst of this smoky, sad, moody, trendy, ever popular trap style production. So he's kind of got the heart of a songwriter at the core of a lot of these tracks, and I think he's shown himself to have a better, a clearer, and a more sensible sense of melody. Whereas a lot of these guys who are part singing, part rapping, their rapping isn't as good as their singing isn't as good as their rapping. And Post Malone, he's merely sort of thrown into the hip hop bin. And not to say that he's too good to sort of be in that lane. But I don't think of him just as a rapper. Hip hop obviously influences what the guy does. But I think it currently influences what a lot of people do in music these days, with it being the zeitgeist. So I don't knock Post for that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I don't take it as him, not caring about the culture, not caring about the music. Maybe when it comes to the genre, he's a little bit short-sighted, as, I talked about in that interview we did when he said, oh, there's not a whole lot of emotional stuff out there and blah, 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 blah. Maybe he's not very well-versed on the old stuff. Like, honestly, a lot of millennials are, rather aren't. But I mean, I guess it is what it is. However, in a way, I kind of feel like this album of his is almost like an attempt by him to write more sad, emotional, personal songs in this auto croon style. So I think there are musical elements to Post's tracks that set him apart from a lot of his competition, and on top of it, um, could be the fact that his songs are so good, and I think they scratch a lot of stylistic itches, because I think his stuff, as far as the tunes at the core of these songs, could easily appeal to people who don't really listen to hip hop, don't even really listen to pop rap or this new wave of trap and everything. Because again, just the tunes at the core of this production, they're just catchy. Whether there's an 808 sub bass and some, very rattling hi hats and super tight, crisp snares behind the songs or not. So in a way, and this could have quite a bit to do with him being white as well. I think he has sort of transcended some cultural barriers as well. Like, he does well with white hip hop fans, with black hip hop fans, and obviously he's had moments in his career so far that have been a little tumultuous, and he's turned people against him off of some awful comment that he made, or some um, bullshit from his past kind of rearing its ugly head, as often happens with a lot of rising stars. Um, But for whatever reason, and I mean, the reason is really that people like the music. Uh, the music has spoken for itself, and he has kind of transcended a lot of the drama that he's found himself caught in since he rose up off of White Iverson. And it's just kind of crazy to see the guy grow artistically, and also just grow in terms of the audience that he's attracting as well. Because originally, when I was listening to his stuff, it was like mostly just white girl turn up music, and I feel like it's become just ever so slightly more interesting than that. You know what I mean? So platinum in a few days is huge, and I don't know. I mean, eventually this current sound that a lot of artists are thriving off of is going to go away because nothing lasts forever. It just doesn't. Nothing lasts forever. Um, but after that wave kind of comes and goes, who knows if Post Malone is going to wash into the ocean with it? Because as long as he maintains his talents as a singer and a songwriter, I feel like as long as he's working with the right producer or has the right ideas in his head, could matriculate over to another sound. Even if it is another hip hop based sound or another trend in the genre that he needs to keep up with. Um, there's really no reason to count out Post Malone at this point. This record is easily much more solid than his last album, is much more well put together, and I've already said it all in my review, And I think he's somebody who is clearly so huge at this point that it would be ridiculous not to expect at least some kind of hype and some kind of, I don't know, effort to make a more ambitious record and an even better record the next time around when he goes to release again. Because again, it would sort of be like the Cardi B thing. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Cardi B's a fat artist," and blah blah blah. Blah. Like you can't expect the music industry to just chew her up and spit her out after the release of this album. Like that would be like not releasing another Avatar, And I feel like Post Malone, while not as huge and not as viral a sensation as Cardi B, um, is kind of in that same boat. Like he's this huge new rising star who has amassed an incredible amount of attention and has a personality and has a style that really seems to resonate with this very young audience. And again, the numbers are crazy. The rise is meteoric, and I'm just like super impressed by the hype, man. I'm just super impressed by the hype. So I don't know what you guys think about all of this platinum status in such a short amount of time. At this point, with the album becoming platinum so quickly, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few weeks, over the next few months, we see this thing go multi-platinum. But I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Just kind of throwing some late night thoughts at you because I thought this was some pretty interesting news. And definitely an indication that, people are feeling the record because, again, in the age of streaming, if your record sucks, you'll get people to listen to it out of curiosity for sure. But people are not going to return to that album. And you do not get to platinum if you do not have people returning to that record and playing those songs again and again and again and again. In a way, I kind of see the streaming model as even a more true reflection of what is popular, what is truly platinum, and what isn't. Because back in the day, people bought albums. They spent money on records, but you never knew who was going back home and just throwing that shit in the trash when they got back. Sure, today things are a little, you know, I guess the shelf life of things are pretty short. We sort of pick up and throw out new artists all the time, but the records like that are kind of dime a dozen and don't amass the amount of streams that a record like this has in such a short amount of time. So, yeah, definitely a standout kind of a occasion on this one. All right. Love you, love you, love you. Forever.